Dear students, it is the third video about week 6 and we are covering Thomas Hobbes. In this video we are going to have discussion about the social contract of Hobbes. In the previous video we discussed Hobbes' law of nature, that what Hobbes' view about the nature. Well, dear students, these political thoughts are very complex philosophies, and it is very challenging for most of the students to understand these concepts fully. Anyhow, I'll try in these videos to make you understand. Here it is, the word, three words are there. Social, two words, social contract. Social contract. Fine. Social mean society and contract mean agreement. Okay. Well, that the agreement between the members of the society. Well, you know this word, that agreement or a contract contract that is enforceable by law. When a contract, for example, you purchase something. For example, there is a laptop. A person asks you, okay, I'm going to purchase a laptop, and you give him money and willingly you both provide. And similarly, that may be a kind of contract. Similarly, contract may well be explained. For example, I'm working in some organization, fine, and that organization has hired me for 3 years, for example, and in these 3 years there are certain rules and terms and conditions have been settled between me and the organization, and these terms and conditions are rights and responsibilities. These rights and responsibilities are called contract. For example, they have asked me that we have hired you for 3 years, clear, and we have hired you, for example, to guide the students about different topics like political science or social studies or this and that, clear. You will work from 8 9 to 4:30 or onward. You will be available at the call, these, and then my regulation that your pay will be this much. These are called social contract. This might be the payment, the time, and everything. Once I have signed the contract, now both we are bound by law that they will have to fill up their promises, and I have to fill up my promises. Okay, these contracts are very common of short term and the long term, and they continue in our life. Okay, say marriage is also a social contract, is a contract as well, and it's a social contract. Fine. What means by the social contract in depth? You have got the idea. Social contract means that since prehistoric times, when human beings were at the earliest stage, and they may be living in the dens and caves and others, they developed their understanding. They made some, they started living in the villages in form of tribes, families and tribes. At that stage, the members of that village or society agreed that all the people are same, fine, and everybody is human being, and every person shall respect the other persons, clear, and we will help in time of need and compulsion. Fine. So these agreements with, within the members of the society for the sake of development, to protect, to cater the needs, and to live a good life. This is called social contract. Fine. Well, uh, in this social contract, the earliest people selected a sovereign, a chieftain, a sardar, and then they decided to subdue to him, follow him, and they uh, mean handed over their selves, their actions to him, that he is the person, he is the leader. That sovereign, that superior person is called sovereign. That may be a king, that may be a general, that may be a prince, that may be a apostle, clear, that may be a khalifa. Fine. So that sovereign is called Khilafat. Fine. That sovereign can be a king. That sovereign can be a dictator. Fine. To which the people have subdued themselves. Why dictatorship is wrong? Because where people have not subdued, followed the dictator by their own will, dictator have got the power and have imposed his authority on the other. This is the reason that people dislike dictatorship. Why? Because General Musharraf or Zia or Ayub Khan or whosoever, they were not, they didn't gain power and sovereignty with the help of the will of the people from the social contract by the force. Fine. And people in the social contract like this hand over their respect, honor, and actions to the other person. The queen and the king becomes, or the sovereign becomes, the protector, the guarantor of their success, and that is done by all walks of life. Clear? And they sometimes subdue their natural rights. So you have heard the word, the divine right of king in England, and in England and in the Western world, divine right of the king, that king is God like. King is the projection of God. Thereby, in England, if a king has killed a person, a common man couldn't litigate against the king. King can grab his money, king can kill him, king can humiliate him, king can give respect to any person. No person can question king whatever he is doing. This is the authority of the sovereign in the Western. Okay, let me connect it with the recent example. You have seen this, that in year 2008, 9 and 10 onward, in the time of PPP, when President Zardari was the president, at that time, I think exactly it was 2009 onward, there was a law of, there was Kanun Istisna. You have heard this word, the law of immunity. Law of immunity was that the heads of state like president, prime minister, governors, chief ministers, ministers of the state, members of the parliament, they were above constitution, that during they are holding the office, no litigation can be made against them. That if they have made corruption, no department of the state can register a case against them in corruption. If they have made uh, uh, they have wounded or injured some person or humiliated some person, no case can be made because they have been given the law of immunity, istisna. This istisna actually was given on the law of this, the British Parliament. The king is sovereign and is above everything. And resultantly, what happened that Salman Taseer, governor of Punjab, committed or not committed some kind of he was what we say he was alleged to have said something blasphemic about the law of Sharia, law of Khatm Nabuwat. What happened? This was the trouble that the people went to police. Police said that he has the immunity. कानून ने उसे इस्तिस्ना दिया है, we cannot arrest him. Okay, the person went to IG. IG also said that we are bound by law, and Parliament has given them istisna or immunity. We cannot arrest them. Okay, they went to Wazir Ala Punjab, Chief Minister Shahbaz Sharif at the time. He said, okay, that is the law by the federal government. The federal government has given the immunity. We cannot go do them. They went to High Court and the Session Court. The Session Court also excused the same point that they have been given istisna and we cannot do anything. The reason was that no person was able in the state, no department could call in question, call into inquiry to the governor, and when everything was same, the person got Mumtaz Qadri got furiated and he killed governor. This was the drawback of this social mean the law of immunity or exception, that because this is in the social contract that the king is above all, king can do everything fine. And the social contract of Hobbes have four dimensions. Number one, unilateral contract, एक तरफा मुआहदा है. End of life of nature, इसमें फितरी जिंदगी का खात्मा हो जाता है. स्टार्ट ऑफ द सोशल लाइफ, इस कॉन्ट्रैक्ट में इंसान की सोशल जिंदगी शुरू हो जाती है. फोर्थ, डिक्टेटर सोवरन, मुतलकल नान हुक्मरान जो है, that becomes the protector and responsible or controller of their life. Just like you see that since Imran Khan used to be simply the leader of PTI, no person he was not controlling the business office of the prime minister. But when he came in election and you and us people, you people voted, specially voted him, and he became the prime minister because you have given your rights, your natural rights, and you vowed that we are with you. We chose you as a head of state. Now whatever he is doing, that is your action. And these are the importance of the political thoughts, that why a common person roaming in the street becomes so important, and why the people who abuse and who criticize cannot do anything. The reason behind this contract. Okay, and it is irrevocable contract. Irrevocable contract means that whatever happens, you will have to do it. Same contract, Musharraf even did not call election, but he became your president. Zia didn't made elections, he became your leader. Even Ayub Khan didn't declare. So these are the different modes of the sovereign to hold the office. Fine. In this unilateral contract, it means that it is a unilateral, mean one-sided contract. Different people assign their rights to the sovereign, and sovereign gets power by their right, mean maximum, that is called majority. इतनी अक्सरियत से जीत गया. This is the same case. Fine. End of the natural life. Because a person in the prehistoric time chose a king, then they were not king themselves. They have to live in the society and abide by the rules. Once you start living in the society or a government preserve your rights. Fine. Uh, Irrevocable contract. Fine. So all these are the some of the social contract of the theories of the social contract by Hobbes, and there are lots of uh, traits of the contract, and you know this, that Hobbes, as I have expressed in the very beginning, believed in stout, strong autocracy, kingship. वो बिल्कुल बड़ी ताकतवर किस्म की बादशाहत और sovereignty पे यकीन रखता था. Clear? Thereby, he gave the idea, number one, that sovereign or head of the state cannot be sanctioned, cannot be called in question. Clear? The sovereign or a king or a leader has the liberty to put the people into prison. No person can question. No person can criticize and raise voice against that king. So there are many critical points that have been discussed from the Hobbes point of view. Thank you very much. I hope this you have understood.